We're gonna hit stop, read 117. All right, welcome back. So today we are on the Limitless V2, and I must say I'm pretty impressed with it, even with the small battery packs that that this RC has for this area. For it to go 121 miles an hour very easily with a Coke can setup. I built a couple of them. One was limit due for a buddy of mine, and that one I think did 102 with an 800 kV 2028 castle system in it. And then the other one was the Thunder Truck. So I had my hopes up for this, and that's why I went with this system. The only thing, like I said, I really changed out and put money into was the PPS mount, which, you know, I think the factory one would have worked fine if you got the adapter for the 2028. Drive shaft had no issues with vibration, no funny sounds coming out of it for, you know, 120 miles an hour. They normally at that point would have bent the drive shaft, so we had none of that. The battery connections, the XLX2, the motor, censored, the servo, having to still cut the receiver box to modify this. I didn't like, especially when they were saying it was designed for these bigger ESCs, especially this XLX2, having to cut it and lay it on the chassis, and it still rubbed on the body a little bit. So you can see the splash up from the gears in the body. But painting up the body, we did it all on camera. Now the decal did get a little messed up here from taping the side. This side did okay because I taped it, I think, more towards the back. But what I'll probably end up doing is just cutting Limitless off on both sides. That way I can tape right in here next to the ESC and keep this body sucked down. But showing, you know, how I paint, putting the black on here, painting the back black. I did keep the arrow on here, which normally I would just remove the front. We're gonna go ahead and flip it over and we'll take a look at the chassis, because I do have this really low to the ground. And so far, the chassis itself, no scratches in the chassis. Now, the front splitter is rubbing on the ground, which is fine because it's kicking all the rocks out that would normally go underneath this chassis and cause all kinds of damage here. So I'm fine with the splitter rubbing. That's just going to be a normal thing, especially under braking, especially at those kind of speeds. Really impressed with this RC. It's not much different than the version 1 but I think the changes ARRMA made on this one are justified. So, but it still does need modifications, just not as many. And as you see, 5200 mAh batteries in it. So they're not really big packs, which I believe this thing will go 125, 130 easy, with just some better batteries in it. And I know it'll go 150 if I go ahead and change that center spur gear out and put a 34 in there, and leave everything else alone. I think we can get to the 140, 150 pretty relatively easily. But that's not what this video is about. And I always tape to my roll of tape on this thing. You see me a lot, especially when I have this in the car. I take my roll of tape and I always throw it under the chassis, especially after the speed run, because the tires are so hot from the ground and doing those runs. If I put it in the trunk of the car and just let it sit, then what'll happen is these will get flat spots in them and then they'll vibrate. So I normally don't put it on a flat surface and let it sit for any length of time until these tires have totally cooled off. And even then, you know, I try to keep the tires up off the ground. It's just better when you're speed running, especially the tires that you're using. And I think if we put the foam tires on it, it'll probably go a little faster. But that's still not why I'm making this video. The reason I've built this RC, and I've had this question asked a lot, is Earl, I'd like you to build me a speed limitless. I wanna pay for one of your builds. I just don't sell my builds. It's not something I do. I don't want to build for people. It's not that I'm not confident in my skills on putting one of these together. I don't want to be obligated to building something for somebody. And then I definitely don't want to take it out on the road and run it at over 100 miles an hour and possibly crash it. That's why a lot of my giveaways I just don't run. I build them and I send them to you guys. So that way, you know, it's a giveaway car. I don't want to destroy it. And it's the same thing building for somebody. If you don't test the car, then how do you know it's going to do over 100 miles an hour? Just because you built 10 of them doesn't mean that that car is going to go 100 miles an hour, if it's going to drive straight, if it's going to have any issues, any of that kind of stuff. So with all that said, I am doing, because I've been pressured over the last couple of years about this, I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell the V2 Limitless to one of you guys. So the way it's going to go is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to throw my email address in the description. If you're interested, serious buyers only. It's not going to come with batteries or a radio. I'm going to pull out my receiver. You got to put your own radio in it. But $1,500 and you guys could take this Limitless. I've already signed the inside of the body. Painted by Earl. So, and I did that when I painted the body because my plans were to sell it to somebody. So all those people out there that want me to build them a Limitless, here you go. It's on video, it's been tested, 121 miles an hour, and I believe it has a lot more in it. But I think that's for you guys to push. It's over 100 mile an hour RC. I still have 7 of them. And I still have the giveaway one. So, but with all that said, I just want to do a video on this, letting you guys know that was the reason I built the version 2. That's the reason I did what I did. That's the reason I had to make sure that the ESC fit in there properly, that the temperatures were going to be good, that the tires were going to hold those speeds. These tires now have 4 passes on it. This whole RC has 4 passes on it. And with all that said, is rubber tires in my experience, 10 runs, and that's it. You need to take them off and turn them into basher tires. Throw them on your infraction, throw them on something. You're going to drift around and tear up the tires. I do the same thing with my Hoons. I do not run my rubber tires over 10 passes. On my foam tires, when I have foams on, means I'm going over 120, 130 miles an hour, and I'm lucky if I can get 2-3 runs out of a set of foam tires, honestly. When these things get squirrely and they slide sideways, they tend to chew up the edge of the foam, and once they start getting cuts in the foam has the risk of disintegrating, and I'm not going to lose a $2,000 RC over a set of tires. So when I start pushing my RCs and really pushing them, and I throw on good expensive foam tires, not just BSRs, but I buy the Gone Bananas ones and I really want to push it, then, you know, I know to inspect them after every run. Those, I don't do back-to-back runs on them. I literally do a pass, check the RC, and that's why I usually have one of these somewhere set up like the Thunder Truck around 100 miles an hour. I warm up with that, get my eye set, get the road conditions, everything set up before I run my fastest speed car. And then I'll do one pass in that, good or bad, whether it crashes or not, and I'll continue on, and I'll continue pushing. But I want to say it right now, we're gonna try this once. I built, I think, an awesome RC, something I think everybody could run 100 mile an hour with. If I can do 121, 118, and what was the first one, 102, I think anybody can run 100 mile an hour in this thing. So there we go. Hopefully, you know, somebody picks this thing up, and if not, it'll go on the shelf. But that's what I'm offering to you guys. So for all those guys that wanted me to build them a Limitless, here you go. Selling it for $1,500. You guys go ahead and pay for shipping, and I'll ship it wherever you want. So I'm going to throw an email address down below, so leave a comment in there, email me, and congratulations on whoever picks it up. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.